So let me just give you the 30-second elevator speech. I've been reading since 1973. It's my full-time job,
Wow.
6 days a week, 14 hours a day. I've written 3 books. And I get to get up every morning to do this. I love it. It's not how I imagined my life starting, but who of us, that's where we are. One of the reasons that I got the skills to become, is a better way of saying it, a certified tarot master, is when the universe hands you your draft notice and you accept it, it goes rifling in your file cabinet to see what you got. And with me, 2 of my top qualities are theater major and professional actress in New York in the 80s and 90s. So I know how to talk about character arcs. And words are my drug of choice. I love stories. Those are 2 of the most important things for reading tarot or oracle cards. But I have been to psychic fairs where, swear to God, the person next to me would put the cards out and then get their little book and read the meanings. And
Wow.
and people would pay it for this.
Oh my God.
God rest him, he's dead now. But now, if you're going to fall in love with the cards, if they are going to be your best buddies, that when you walk in the room and your hand reaches, you can feel them going, oh boy, who are we going to play today? Then you have to get out of the little meanings. Okay. Now, admittedly, what I'm going to teach you today may not work if you're using things like the Swiss JJ deck, where the minor arcana are just a number of the suit pictures, you know, pentacles or cups or whatever, and the number. The ones that this will work with are things like the Rider-Waite and all the derivatives thereof, because they're pictures that you can get into. So, as an example, the first one I'm going to show you is the card that taught me I could do this.
Wow.
Pulling it up, and let's see, we want Pentacles, and we want the 3, and we're going to go into sharing mode. Share screen. Hey, host, disabled participant screen sharing. You got it. I can't teach when you don't let me share my screen.
Oh,
Can you
how do
fix
we
that?
turn that on? Let's fix that. I'm gonna make you a co-host, and it should let you do it.
Yep. Okay. There we go. All right. So here you've got the 3 of Pentacles. This deck is from the Tarot Illuminati, done by Eric Dunn. It is my absolute out-of-the-box favorite tarot decks. Notice that this is someone building something. It has the same feel of the standard Rider-Waite, which is a church building, and the 3 pentacles are usually in stained glass. Now, what are some of the standard meanings of this? Mastery, long-term, value. But when I saw this, what came out of my mouth for a couple in Kitchener, Ontario was, I think there is an abandoned or deconsecrated church within a couple of miles of here, and you need to open up a cafe bakery there. And I'm thinking, they're going to think it's viable. But they looked at each other and they nodded, and they looked at me and said, oh yeah, we know which one. We've been arguing about it for 2 years. Because I did not censor what spirit was telling me, I was able to give them a weirdly precise reading. And that's the kind of thing that I want you to feel comfortable with, excited about doing when you look at a card. Let me pull up another one, and we're going to look at it and see what we can find. I'm going to work with some majors because they're nice and easy. All right, so first thing I'm doing is we're going to look at the Fool card. Boom. Okay, pretty standard. Now, Dax, what's the standard meaning for that card? Someone who is just basically learning. What are they going to say?
Oh, they're gonna say, go for it, take the leap. Things like that.
And that's good, but vague.
Very vague.
But you look at the pieces in the picture. For one thing, you've got the rose, the white rose, that's pure passion.
Mm.
He's got a hobo bag, but it doesn't look very full. And he's got a dog. Hopefully the dog's not pushing him off the cliff, but
That's what it looks like.
he is about to step out into nothing. There's also his cloak that has all kinds of interesting bits to it. Now, the way I explain it, if you grab hold of what you're passionate about and carry very little emotional baggage, we all have old baggage, and only tell those who are loyal to you, you can cross mountains and fly. That gives you a whole bunch of different meanings. Well, what about the color he's wearing? What's green? Green is sometimes known as healing. It's the color of spring and growth. So you could also say this may be a very new idea for you, but the growth pattern in it will be very successful. You see that his shoes are pointed. They are keeping him pointed in the right direction. There's a garter. Garters, especially when you think of the Knight of the Garter, they're a mark of promise. They're a mark of remembrance about who you are or what you stand for. Now, when you can, and also look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clasps keeping his houppelande tunic closed. Could they be 4 days, 4 weeks, 4 months before what he's doing comes to light? So when you look at a piece of artwork on your tarot and you lovingly spend time with it, not worrying about what the books are going to tell you you had to say, you are going to personalize your deck because it will know how to talk to you and when and why. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Dahlia, what
Yes.
else can you see in this card that maybe I didn't mention that could have meaning? You can't get this wrong. Just go for it.
The sun is shining light on him, but he's like, it's on his back. So I feel like, I don't know. I just, your card has, I read the original Waite Smith cards, and your cards have extra things added on them.
Well, that's
So
because I love going deep dish into the cards. But I'm telling you, once you know tarot,
Mhm.
any of these cards that you pick up, anybody's tarot deck, you're going to be able to break it apart. Now, a dragon tarot deck with a Fool may have different information on it, which could
Right.
be that you're going to direct that answer slightly differently.
So my very big difference with a lot of readers, including Dax and Mary, is that I read through looking at the pictures and through listening to the client and through my visions. Like, I am not a
Good girl.
book text person, so I'm still learning though. Like, I haven't had time to go through like Dax's videos again, but I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to do that because I would like to learn more numerology and all the other symbols, like you said, the white rose. I'm just not there yet. I just go simply off my gut feelings and my visions and the pictures.
Okay, well then this is a new methodology for you to learn. Here's the
Mhm.
temperance card. I'm not going to tell you what I see. I want you to go through it for me. Sharon, feel free, chime in. What could all of this stuff mean?
Can we go back to the Fool? Because there was a
Yeah.
couple of things that I did see.
Good, go ahead.
Mm.
Behind him, behind him, I want to point at it, but I know you can't see it. Behind him where that pink like water is, that looks like a very calm top of a volcano to me.
Okay, what I'm doing with the arrow, is
Yeah.
that what you're talking? Okay.
Yes, yeah. That looked to me like the top of a volcano that's calm, that
Mhm.
is not exploding. He also looks like he's traveling to me. And one of the first things I noticed is that the dog is white. And
Mhm.
white to me means purity and innocence, which it goes along with the Fool. And also the sun means daylight. But the
Mhm.
whole card, even the water, is calm.
Mm.
So
I was drawn to the dog first too.
yeah, the dog was where my eye went very as soon as I saw the card.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, and my thing, Corby, was the huge amount of water. I mean, typically in a lot of
Yeah.
full cards, you don't even have water, and
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
the calmness that Sharon saw. And then, of course, water for me is always like the subconscious, the spiritual realm, subconscious. I already said that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think other
For me, it's emotion.
higher
Yeah, I
higher
was just gonna say that
consciousness.
water's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now,
Awesome.
knowing that, now let's take a look at the temperance card.
Mm.
I want to know what other people see, and then I'll tell you what I get from it.
It almost looks like there's a double rainbow, kind of.
Yeah, I like the
Like there's,
rainbow.
yeah, but there's the rainbow on her wing. It looks like there's a double rainbow on one side. I'm gonna
Mhm.
find my temperance card
Okay.
just to compare.
Yep.
I see the rainbow. The rainbow is the first thing I saw. Her wings are kind of droopy, but her chest looks more like she looks more masculine than
Mhm.
feminine. But her face is more feminine.
She's probably that androgynous that most angels are.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I see a bird down there, like a bird face at the bottom of her robe by where most of the leg is shown.
Hmm.
Tell me here.
Yes, right there.
Okay.
Oh, and I see another one on the other side too.
Where?
Oh, it looks like an eagle's face on the other side.
Right by the flower.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a woodpecker when I looked at it.
And I
Yeah.
saw grosbeak, but we're all agreeing they're birdies.
Yeah, and there's like wings coming by them.
Mhm.
So it's definitely balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like she's not paying attention, like her mind is going off somewhere else. She's looking to the side and she's not paying attention to the water that's kind of almost splashing out and like messy as she's pouring it into the other cup. Like her
Okay.
mind is somewhere else.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's an impossible pour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gravity
Yeah.
isn't working here. It's
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
that should
love
be
that.
dripping on.
Okay. Now, the things that I normally pick up, I explained that the angel is pouring water from cup to cup, yet not spilling it, which talks about emotional mastery.
Yeah.
The angel has 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the water, meaning the angel has 1 foot in where they are and 1 foot in where they want to go. That could explain why they're looking off to the side starting to imagine things. They've got,
So the dominant hand or the dominant foot is where they are, and the non-dominant is where they want to go? Or
no,
is it the
this
other way?
one, land, where they are, in the water, where they want to go.
Okay.
This shows emotional mastery, because you would think, as you say, they're being pretty sloppy with the water, but not a drop is falling into the stream.
Right.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello.
So anybody know what irises mean? Besides they're pretty. I love the flowers, but I don't know what the esoteric meaning is.
No, I don't.
Hold on.
I love the flowers too. They're one of my favorite.
The iris commonly means wisdom, hope, trust, and valor. Okay.
Purple means royalty.
Okay. What is more royal than an angel to the rest of us on earth?
That's true.
So wisdom is, notice some of the wisdom is blooming. There's a whole bunch behind the angel that has yet to come into the present. So again, 1 foot in where we are, 1 foot in where we want to be. The right side of the card is where we are. The left side of the card is where we want to be, what our potential is. Okay. Where might a card like this come into a reading that it would be really useful for this? What might the question be that the client is asking?
I think that that card would be where they are right now in the present. Trying to figure out where they want to go.
Possible.
Or like the end result where they have decided where they want to be.
Okay.
This card has always meant to me balance, and also like healing, making your own natural medicines and bringing back balance to your body and to your mind.
What do you, I'm
That's what
interested.
it's
Why
always
do you
meant to
say
me.
natural medicines here, Dahlia?
Because it kind of shows almost every element besides fire. I mean, the angel itself could be the fire, right? The halo coming around the head.
Sun is fire, so it's
the
got
sun
fire.
is fire. Well, because in the original weight, yeah, it has all the elements, and it kind of like with a little circle on the forehead and the triangle on the breastplate and just the cups. Like I always feel like she's making her own concoction and going into nature, stepping your feet on the ground, stepping your feet in the ocean or a natural body of water, not like a man-made thing, a natural body of water. Yeah.
Yeah, and the wings are crimson too in the Waite Smith version, representing fire and passion.
Yeah.
Well, right at the top of the card, to me, that looks like sunlight coming down, even though you don't see the sun.
Yes, it is. Notice also, she could be, I have to go androgynous. They could be coming down from the mountains where we saw the fool. And now, halfway through the journey, where am I going to go? Is there any of my emotion that is no longer potable, no longer something I want to drink? What have I found blossoming on my road? See, tarot is one of the most amazing storybooks you could ever own. And the more you learn to weave this story for your clients, especially if you can keep them spellbound listening to you, then they're going to get into this reading with you. They are going to absorb it. And you will have helped them make this kind of a change. All right, now let's see if we can take one of the minors. see.
I'm fascinated with those birds on her gown.
Yeah. It probably wasn't even intentional by the artist. And then it's like, oh, we see it.
Okay.
They're like hidden pictures.
So, somebody have a favorite Pentacle card that they want to look at?
No, not really.
Someone pick
I
one.
forget the number it is, but it's with the old man sitting and the two dogs, and I'm looking for it.
Oh, the 10
I
of
forget.
Pentacles.
Oh, number 10. Found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been into that
Now-
one lately.
Okay. I pulled the 5 of Pentacles. This usually shows a couple of guys and, they're in the
Oh, that
snow and you see them against a lit church window. Here you have a different feel. One of the things I love about this deck is that each of the suits is given a particular culture.
Mm.
Pentacles are done Asian. Cups
Oh.
are Russian Scandinavian. Swords are Elizabethan England. Wands, he tries to go for a Middle Eastern feel. So that's why you're seeing pagoda feel. You've got all these steps. Now, in the original Rider-Waite, you don't have those steps. So how can the steps add to the meaning of the card?
Hmm.
Could
So-
be.
Well,
Go ahead.
since it's a church,
Uh-huh.
it could be elevating your spirituality. But it's pentacles, so that, yeah, because pentacles are usually earthly things. Because
Well,
this
3 of Pentacles has a church building, so.
yeah. Like Jacob's ladder,
Mm.
climbing up to your climbing up to heaven.
Also, you don't have shoes that have a good grip. You could try to climb those stairs and slip on the sleet and snow.
Mm-hmm.
So what does the sleet and snow symbolize for your client? Is it their doubts? Is it addictions? Is it an obsession? Is it they can't let go of their victim story?
A slippery slope
Yeah.
Right.
in general.
See?
And they're
Yeah.
not looking at it, so they're kind of like looking away from something that might be a little bit challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Trying to find the next place to go
Yeah.
because they don't have a choice. So now, one of the things I'd like to do is I'm going to have one of you pose a question. I'm going to pull some cards from my deck because I have all of them pictures on my computer that I can pull up. So who's got a question?
Like any question?
Yep.
One that you might think your client might bring you. Do not ask me for the lottery numbers because me first. And anyway, if I'm not driving a Lexus, how do you know I know?
Jesus, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay.
Well, I get the promotion at work.
All right. Who's asking me this?
Sharon.
Okay. You are allowed to ask clarification questions of your client. For
Okay.
one thing, I would ask, have you interviewed for it yet or not?
I talked to my boss about it.
Okay.
If
So
I
then
if
could
I
be-
would be oh, what's the word I'm looking for? If I would be considered for it.
In consideration. All right. First, I would look at the relationship you have with your boss. So there's a card for you, a card for your boss, a card for the relationship as it stands, what you need to know and best possible outcome about this conversation. Okay.
Okay.
So your card is the Eight of Wands. Let me pull that up. Okay. Here we have the Eight of Wands. What's the usual meaning of the Eight of Wands?
I usually see it as like not having a straight answer, or like your mind is, you need to be more organized, I guess, or maybe you need to choose. There's like a lot of meanings for that one to me.
That's
Sometimes
what,
the-
how do you teach rookies to read the Eight of Wands? Dax isn't even here.
Yeah, if I
Sharona?
were-
Sharona, how would you teach a rookie to read the Eight of Wands? Just the standard meaning.
Okay, just unmuting myself. I, to me, it's about being on target, moving, doing some kind of movement or action. And I usually interpret it that things are happening rapidly and you're on target, and keep on that course. You're moving in the right direction.
Okay. I always see it as a communications card. So there you are, throwing ideas to your boss about, well, I could do this work and I'm interested, and what can you tell me? And has anybody else interviewed, etc. And I agree with Sharona. It is a card that says things are going to be moving faster than you think, so be ready to jump. Notice also in this case, they are going over mountains, which means this is something you're really reaching for. This is not an easy stroll in the park. Got it? Boss's card. Six of Pentacles. Okay. One. Okay. Six of Pentacles. Now, think of the boss. What could this card say about what he's thinking about the position?
Who's best qualified for it?
Mm-hmm.
Who would be the best match for it?
Mm-hmm. You're going to have competition for it.
Yeah.
Because there are two people already in line saying, please pick me. He is obviously thinking about what the pay scale is going to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
That scale.
how much can these people take on to maybe take things off his plate? Because this is the card of assistance.
Yeah, I was thinking of how it would be peaceful for him.
What
Peaceful,
would?
who he would place in this position, how that would make his job more peaceful and easy.
Okay.
So that would be like the best candidate.
Okay, let's take a look at the kimonos and see what's there. He's got dragons. Now, they're only 4-toed dragons. They're not 5-toed dragons, so it's not an imperial dragon. But dragons are fire, dragons are action. He's got the dragons. The guy on the right, all the circles, all he's interested in probably is the money. Whereas the girl on the left with the cherry blossoms, she may have more of a creative idea about it and be less focused on money and more focused on what the position can bring her. Okay. Now, the relationship between the two of you. What's that say?
That card has always been a hard worker, represented a hard worker to me.
Mm-hmm.
So with those cards, I feel that the boss recognizes her assets.
Mm-hmm.
He does know what she would be able to, what her value would be for that job. So he is seriously considering her, but he will not necessarily just hand her the job. She would have to earn it.
Okay. Notice he is also blocking the way of ascension.
Right.
She doesn't get this promotion, there's not going to be another place in the company that she can rise. Notice also, he is hugging the money tight to himself and his mouth is shut. He is not going to tell her what the salary is or her value. She's going to have to go through the interview process just like everybody else.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Next card for what she needs to know. Okay, Ace of Cups. So we've gone from Wands and Pentacles to a Cup card. So this is the card that says what she needs to know. You've got the emotion again. Could be 5 streams. She may have to either interview 5 times or with 5 people. What else?
Well, Ace is new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
5 different streams. She may want to look outside of the company if she wants to rise above what she is doing now. She wants some type of promotion.
She better make sure that she loves what they're offering. If she has any doubts, don't.
Yeah, make sure that she isn't just attracted to the job because of the money.
Mm-hmm. Remember, lotuses have roots in the water. So,
Yes, so
water
that's
is emotion.
emotions.
What are the lotuses floating in the water telling her about the base of this job?
It's based in emotion.
Mm-hmm. She can't dial it in. She cannot go in, punch the time clock, and come out and forget about it at the end of the day. She has got to believe in her position, the people she works with, what the company produces. If she's an environmentalist, why the hell is she working for an oil company kind of thing? And is she willing to, notice the hand offering the cup, is she willing to offer her truth and emotion to the company so they know who she really is and what she thinks? What's the outcome? Well, it's not bad.
And I've always thought of the 5 streams as the 5 senses. So it's like part of the message, be aware of everything.
Yep. So that's the outcome. How would you read it?
The 10 of Pentacles has always, for my entire life, been the moving card.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why.
As in relocation card?
Yes.
See, mine for that, mine is the Four of Wands, moving in, moving on, moving out, moving up.
Yeah.
But this, all right, so let us assume that she's going to get the promotion. This is how she has to be within the promotion. What is it?
I would say totally committed because that just looks like a whole family.
Right. You
Yeah.
have to accept you're going to be part of the family. Notice that the red sleeves of the patriarch
Mhm.
has either a tree or lightning. So it's either growth or ideas. Dogs are loyalty. The little schnutz. Schnutz is German for little nose. Anybody under 5 is a schnutz. So there's a schnutz at the big guy's knee. Means she's going to be teaching rookies. It is not just about her. It's going to be, she needs to raise up her team, the next generation. Because that's what family is. And with 3 different lights, with 3 different streams of money,
Mhm.
to me, that's salary, bonuses, and perks. And the salary may be more,
Mhm.
or the bonuses or the perks. They won't be just even. She has to decide what's the most important thing for her. Where would she be willing to give a little bit in order to get this job?
Yeah. That's interesting.
So basically,
I can also see that that is a career. That's not just a job.
right, exactly. So that's the kind of thing that rookies don't know they're not, they don't know to do. They don't know they're allowed to do it. They're so busy getting all the rules done. The most important thing for anybody who's going to read is to feel that they are partners with the cards. Cards are not just tools. That their energy is in the cards, and the cards are looking at them on a Tuesday morning going, cool, what are we doing today? Because when you know your deck is your buddy, it'll tell you when you want to read the deck. It'll tell you what it wants to do. Now, this is specifically tarot, but I also read with oracle decks, for which I also never read the books. So I have all these decks. They live on my desk. And because I have partnered with them, I want to see, view speaker. Okay, good. I want the speaker. Am I all right? Interesting. Sharon, I see you as speaker. I'm up in the corner, but it's not showing me as anything but gallery. All right, so let's look. That's
I
okay.
can put you on speaker mode.
No. I mean, it won't bring me up as the person speaking at the moment. That's what I mean. All right, so let's look at these. This deck is Whispers of Lord Ganesh. Ganesh is one of my favorite in the multi-religion pantheon. He's all about obstacles. He's all about, well, everybody in India who's Hindu has a statue of Ganesh in their house, whether it's enormous or, no, I'm not Hindu, but it's a little dude like this. Now, the way I explain Ganesh, the Lord of Obstacles, and why he is so beloved to people in America who don't know anything about it is I tell them it's the Indian equivalent of, you go into South Philadelphia in the row houses, and the little Italian American grandmother has the peeling statue of the Virgin Mary in the back by the barbecue and the tulips. It's ubiquitous, and they get that. It also gives them a feel for what the god is. And so this deck, when I got it, said, we want to be the deck that when someone needs a compassionate understanding of a situation, you pull us out. Okay? And it's things like, what are your priorities? It's things like, are you open to things? And again, you could go through these for the symbolism and the meaning. The very first Oracle deck I ever got said, we're here to help you give people clue bricks upside the head. And that is the Fairies Oracle with Brian Froud's work. As I say, these are not your ootsy cutesy fairies. These guys march in your head and rip up the floor tiles and give you homework. If the person that I'm working with needs much more kindly, understandable stuff, it's like the deck goes a little dark, not dark evil, but there is no spotlight on that deck. Instead, what may show up is things like the angels of Atlantis, because this person may really love angels. When it is, does Bruce love me? We're always going to get that. Yes, I do a 5-spread tarot deck, but I also pull this out so that they understand what's behind it. And the karma and relationship deck, things like roles, empowerment, give the relationship enough time. This would not necessarily be appropriate for another kind of reading. So the more that you partner with your deck, the more your buddies, the more that every morning you have that metaphysical, energetic cup of coffee with it and say, so what are we doing today? It will jump into your hands when you are ready to read with it. It will have its little energetic paw go, Mimi, I want to play here, when your client asks a question, and that's the deck to use. And the more you go into the layers and layers, like baklava, okay? Me, first I pull up the crispy top, then I eat the nuts, then I eat the other layers with all this stuff on it. It's kind of like Middle Eastern Oreo cookie. You're going to be able to give them such a drill down reading and let them leave with so much useful information that A, you're going to look like a freaking genius to them, and B, you are going to empower them in ways they never thought they were allowed to be empowered. So, questions, thoughts? Now it's your turn. I've been pontificating way too much.
Awesome. Oh, by the way, I was able to get you, what do they call that? Speaker view. And I'm the one recording, so.
Got it. Okay.
Got you up there.
So, thoughts, anybody? Arguments?
It's funny that you just brought up the Oracle decks, because I was going to say that's how I was taught to read Oracle decks, was just to really look at the picture and interpret what the picture said.
Yep. I never read the books. Never, ever.
And that's basically what you're telling us to do more with the tarot deck.
Yeah, it doesn't mean don't learn
the
standard meanings. You know, it's like you go to boot camp, but people are scared of tarot because it's had rules and regs for hundreds of years. They're not scared of an oracle deck. I mean, I teach a course called Decadance, where I can teach everybody how to read a non-tarot deck in 5 minutes. People who have never read before, they come into the class, they have a deck. We talk about, one of the things I do is, first, everybody puts their decks out where people can't see whose decks are whose, with the front and the back and a special card that they think is theirs. And what we do is we discuss, well, what does the deck feel like? What kind of a person would read it? And then they try to guess whose deck it is. Then,
That's awesome.
oh, it's great fun. Then we go into teams and they read each other. Then I make them switch decks. A reads with B's deck, B reads with A's deck. And then I shove everybody 3 seats down and they have to trade decks. So it's not like, well, I know this person and I know this deck, so I'll be okay. No. Boom, you got total stranger, totally new deck to do it. And there's a lot of giggling and there's a lot of, oh, wow. And everybody leaves there bubbling because they didn't know they could do it, but now they do. So
That's way cool because where I live in a small town. There's actually it's pretty eclectic. There's a lot of girls that ask me
Ooh.
how to read tarot cards. This one lady wants to collaborate and make a tarot deck with me. She's an awesome painter. And I told her I'm not ready to do that. Like, it's a huge commitment to have every single card meaning ready and explain. Like, I just can't do that. Like, tarot to me is so broad. Each card can mean a million different things. And how do you put that into words? How do you put that into a picture? Like, that's just amazing to me.
then tell her thank you. You're very
So
flat.
that's like a fun idea.
Yeah, but don't do it until you're ready, because then your ego is going to keep blocking you 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and cha-cha.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a fun idea though, like that tarot party. That's super cute.
anybody else have thoughts?
Anybody else?
You.
I'll ask everybody to unmute. I had to mute some people because the lines were so loud. But you're all unmuted. Sharon, you got something?
You're either
Very
petting a cat or
interesting.
throwing cards. I'm not sure, Sharon.
It's very, very interesting. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
What really piqued your interest, Sharon? Was that Sharon that was talking, or Charlotte?
Sharon.
Sharon, okay. Now I see little green things. Okay.
Yeah.
What was it that intrigued you most?
Really looking at the artwork and pulling all that out and pulling more out of the card than the basic definition. I remember from Marie's class in the International Association of Angels, her explaining, and I always remember this, her explaining the difference between a mediocre reader, a good reader, and an excellent reader.
Mediocre reader is probably like the guy who would pull out the little
Right.
read it next to me, the psychic bears.
Yeah,
Right.
pull out the book and say, this is what this card means.
Reading the keywords and
Yeah.
directly out of the book.
That's right. Yep. And paying
Corbie,
yeah.
would you say that after all these years, you still are amazed, like with every reading that you do, how accurate and how like just amazing the reading is? Do you feel like
It's not always. It can't be, because you get the person who wants you to tell him that Bruce loves you and he wants to have 7 babies with you. And the cards are not saying, and she goes, well, what if I did this? Well, what if I did that? Well, what if this? And, you know, they beat on you basically until you tell them what they want, or you say, we're done. So no, not every reading is glorious and magnificent. But at the end of every day, I shake my head and I look at my husband and I say, today was fun. And there are those readings that you do where a client comes in stuck and you do this reading for them, and all of a sudden, boom, dawn breaks over Marblehead, and you give them the way out of the challenge or the way to grab what they want. That's what's But don't be afraid when someone comes back to you with the same question over and over and over again, and you know they're not listening to what you're saying because they have their own answer that they want. They do that with me. You know, they can come to me 3 times, and after that, I'm the good bartender. I cut them off. They're wasting their money and my time. So don't think you're wrong when you give them information that you know is on target and they don't want it. That's, you know, like you're offering baked Alaska to someone and they say, I don't see how you can have ice cream in that heated meringue, so this is fake, I'm not eating it. Well, fine, you know, your loss. We will not be beloved by all our clients, you know?
No.
You cannot let that hit your ego. You just look at them and say, thank you for sharing. You may think that if you wish. Blessings on your journey. Out the door. There are, you know, I read about 1,000 people a year now. There are some clients that well, it's not just every day here, but I read 40 people once a month in my free reading hour. I'll do a psychic fair and I'll do 21 readings that day. So, you know, that's how it adds up, and 6 days a week. But there are some clients that are now banned. In my acuity scheduler, there's a place, are you banning? And I'm going, yep. And I put why. And don't be afraid to do that. It is not that you're bad or the cards aren't answering, is that they do not want the information that they need, or they want to make you into something you can't be, which is a trained dog. Telling what they want. Their integrity.
One time I felt like somebody was giving me a fake question one time, and I was like, I can't read the cards right now. There's just something that's blocking me from giving you an answer. And I felt like it was a fake question. Do you get stuff like that too?
Well, there will be times when I can't connect. The cards will not make sense. I try to go up to get their past lives, and I see the Akashic record book, flipping the pages, and they're all blank. And there are some people who deliberately challenge you. Things like, well, why don't you tell me something you couldn't know about me? And if you're right, I'll have a reading. Somebody did that to me once, and I looked at him and said, I'm sorry, I don't roll over and fetch either. And I turned my back on him, and they were not allowed in the booth. The thing is, while some people will always respect us, some people see us as no more than a burger, a latte, or a car wash. They want what they want. When I'm doing an 11-hour show day, I'll take 15 minutes every 2 hours to scrub out my brain and grab a bite to eat. And there was one time when I was trying to wolf down a sandwich, and a guy leans from my table, pokes my sandwich with his finger and says, you don't need to eat right now. My wife wants a reading.
Wow.
Now, my front person slid in front, and, you know, he was not getting a reading at my booth. But don't let that throw you. You can't get upset. You can't cry. You can't get angry. It's just get rid of them and go on. Do not let them fry your circuits, because they'd love that, and you're better than that. But now we're getting into my lecture on how to be an A-list exhibitor, which is a whole different kind of thing. But to get back to what we're talking about, you know that what is in the books is one layer, and a good reader goes deep dish down. And if the person saying, well, that I've never seen anybody read like that, you just smile and you say, thank you. You want to add, I learned from the best? I would not object. But what you do is, this is how I read.
I'm stealing that now. I learned from the best. Corbie taught me.
But anyway, so hopefully you got a little something that you can practice with now. You know, one card a day, you take a look and you kind of pick it out. Think of it, do you remember those 3D pictures that would look like Panette? And you'd kind of not focus, and all of a sudden you'd look and it had Spock's, you know, long and prosper hand in it. Remember those? That's what these cards are like. When you just don't focus on the usuals, but just kind of slide your eyes, and all of a sudden something is going to pop out to you that you hadn't seen before. And you can go down that rabbit hole and say, okay, well, what do you mean? To the point where you will be slapping down those cards and reading them so fast because everything talks to you that you'll almost be doing a marathon just getting the information out, and you will love it. Okay.
Yeah. There are sometimes, Corbie, where it's like it has absolutely nothing to do with the card, you know, traditional meanings, things that, like, I'll look at the card and I won't go through the whole thing. I'll just be drawn to one little tiny thing, something like the salamander on the King of Wands, for instance, you know, and I'll think of, okay, salamanders, you know, it's like the ability to withstand the heat, you know, and then that's the meaning for me, that particular card, that particular spread, that particular client, that particular question. And it means something completely different when it comes up next time. It's this guy, you know, that's an Aries, you know. So yeah, it's I love the deep dish though. I mean, and should besides, you know, doing it in the reading itself, that would be a great exercise, right? Go through all the cards.
That's what I just said, you know, every
dish in each
day,
one.
just pick one.
Yeah.
Who am I talking to today? And, you know, 9 times out of 10, that's the card that you need today. But the deck wouldn't presume to tell you. It's just hoping you get.
That's awesome. That's well, thanks for this and all the, you know, extras in the Q&A too.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun.
Lots of fun. Well, that's all for today. We'll see you all later on.
Thank you very much.
I do got to say one thing. Charlotte looks so cold, you know.
It's a little bit chilly.
She's got the, you know, I do too. It's actually chilly in here, but it's because we have the AC going here.
Where do you live that you're bundled up like an Eskimo?
Eastern Utah at about 5,200 feet.
Out in the snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's like, it's spring, and I'm like, I still have over a foot of snow in my yard. It's not spring yet.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you in the next workshop.
You bet.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for doing this.